Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video, this is a video that I wish I didn't have to make. The injection pump on the Jetta is dead. So I am going to have to remove this injection pump. The pump will not draw any fuel into the pump itself. If you're not familiar with the A3s, they don't have a separate lift pump like some of the later models did. They have an internal vane style pump that draws fuel from the tank through the filter into the pump, and then the other part of the pump pressurizes it, sends it to the injectors. So the pump is not drawing any fuel. It could be for a variety of reasons. The bottom line is this pump the car has 378,000 miles. The pump itself has, I believe, about 320,000 miles or so. And I've talked to several pump rebuilders, and they said that that is absolutely phenomenal to get that amount of mileage out of a pump. I use the pretty much its whole life I've used the AMSOIL fuel additive in here to lubricate the pump, and it's obviously done a phenomenal job. But pumps don't last forever, and this one has not. So I'm going to be starting to remove the pump, and I'm going to, it's not going to be because this video will just end up being too long, and I think people get tired of. I'm a teacher at heart and like to give a lot of instruction and specific step-by-step, but we will hit the high points. So what I have already done up to this point, besides all the checks, is I have done, just as I was getting ready to do a timing belt job, I removed the top cover. I rotated the engine over to where the pen will lock the pump. I set the timing mark to top dead center on the flywheel, and also tested and made sure that the camshaft was perfectly level with the head. That is the Volkswagen procedure that you would do to set everything to top dead center. Once you lock everything down, then you can loosen the timing belt, remove that, and etc., etc. So that's where I am. I haven't loosened the timing belt yet. I just don't want to do this job, to be honest. But I've got to get the car back on the road. I can't stand having it sit here like this. So anyway, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove the air boot. I'm going to remove the air box, and after I do that, I'll show you guys where I'm at, how everything is lined up if you intend to do this job. The timing belt is not a hard job. You do need the specific Volkswagen tools to do it properly. This engine is extremely, if the cam is off a few thousandths of an inch, you can have problems relative to everything else. But it's not easy. I mean, it's not hard. You just got to be careful what you're doing, and you have to use the right tools. There's three main tools that we use here. And but anyway, enough gibber-jabbering. I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and then we'll be back. All right, so with everything out of the way, we've got a lot more room. Next, I'm going to remove the tension off the serpentine belt tensioner, remove the serpentine belt, and then I'm going to take the power steering pump belt off by loosening the power steering pump, and that will allow us to remove the lower cover after we remove those bolts. All right, so let me show you guys where I'm at. I've removed the drive belts. I have removed the pulley and harmonic balancer, and the next thing that I'm going to do is remove this bottom cover. I believe there are 4 bolts that do that. Whoops. And I also marked, because I'm not going to change the timing belt, I marked the belt with 3 different places on the cam, the direction that it travels, and then on the injection pump. So after I get the bottom cover off, I'm going to make a few paint marks on there. It just makes it a lot easier and really, really quick to line things up. Now, I don't know if you guys can see, but inside the hole right there is a timing mark I don't think the camera's picking it up. There's too much stuff it's trying to autofocus on. Let me see if I can do it manually. Alright, so you will see the white timing mark on the flywheel, and there's a little lip right there on the bell housing, and that should line up when you're at top dead center on the crank. I want to show you guys something that may help if you're doing this. One of the most frustrating things about setting this engine to top dead center is using this plate. Now the problem is, as you can see, the plate wants to slide. So what I did was I took 2 of my oil filter magnets that I used and made little stops. That way it won't slide, because what you have to do is you have to take a feeler gauge and slide it under each side. Obviously I need a third hand to do this, but this is a 9/1000th gauge, and it has to be equal. You have to be able to get the equal number of measurement. I'm going to try to do this anyway. And then you slide this gauge under this side, and I can get a 10/1000ths on this side, but I can't get it on this side. So it's almost, this is probably 9.5 and this is 9/1000. But anyway, that's what you have to do to get the cam perfectly in line. You do that, plus you line up your timing mark. You have your pump pin locked all the way in, and you're not going to be able to see that, but it's going through the bracket. At that point, everything's at top dead center, everything's lined up, and you would take the tensioner loose right there to do your timing belt. Alright, we are back the next day. So I double, triple, quadruple checked my clearance with feeler gauges underneath the cam plate. That's fine. I double checked, let's see if I can get this. Double, triple, quadruple checked the timing mark, which is set perfect on the flywheel. And I made a reference mark on the crank to the block. It's actually viewed like this, that long line, so I can turn this if I have to without having to keep going and looking at the flywheel. These marks right here, as I may have explained yesterday, this timing belt only has like 40,000 miles, so that way it'll allow me to line it up perfectly. So what I'm going to do now is take a 13mm wrench, loosen that nut, and then I'll loosen the tensioner and slide. All I care right now is to slide the belt off the injection pump. Alright, so I have removed the timing belt from the pump itself. You can see there's a little spring to it. The cam gear is loose. Now when I loosen this, it did move the cam slightly, so this is a little, it can still move, but it's a little too tight. So when we go to do the reassembly, I'll have to rotate the cam over a little bit and get it shimmed back to what I had it before. So it's okay, that's going to happen. Alright, so the next step is to start loosening. I'm going to take the fuel injection lines loose, and I will take the bracket loose that's holding the connectors. I'll disconnect both of these connectors and start removing the bolts to the pump and the fuel lines, and then it should come off. Okay, so remove the injection lines. Okay, All injection lines are loose. Next, we're going to remove the side electrical connector. Remove the connector that goes to the, I don't know what this is called. Right. Remove the fuel lines at the pump. I'm going to remove this large bolt. Okay. Main supply. Okay. Okay. All right, so I had to get a Metal Nerd sprocket puller for the pump. It's kind of a really nice design. It's got some recesses cut into these two arms here, and the bolt just presses against the stud there. Okay, that was not the tool breaking. That was the pump sprocket coming off. Now, be very careful. This is keyed. This is one of the only things Volkswagen uses that is actually keyed, and there is a key. Let me show you. It's a Woodruff key. Okay. And yeah. Forgot there's 4. And the pump should slide off. Be very careful of the electronics. Here it is. I'm gonna put it down and let you guys have a look at it. Alright, so here's where the pump was. Wow, it's a lot easier to get this stuff on this engine. So here's the large bracket that holds one of the screws, and the 2 studs fit there and there. That's where the nuts fit, and then the other bolt that's corroded a little bit fits right there. All right, guys, so here is the injection pump, and this is the front. There is the slot where the Woodruff key goes. I have 2 studs that are attached to the, I'm going to call them just bales. This is the side you normally wouldn't see. This is the quantity adjuster on the top, and this is the head of the pump. Here is your fuel stop solenoid right here. Here is your return line spinning around. Here's your electronics. Now I got to tell you something, that on this pump, these electronics are not made anymore, nor is this quantity adjuster. You can get this bottom part of the pump brand new, but this part has to be used. If you damage this, if you damage it and it gets damaged in shipping, the new pump the pump's useless without that. So you'll have to find a used one. That is all that is left in the marketplace. There are no new ones. So anyway, there's the supply line right there. And I just wanted to show you guys what is the deal with it. I'll show you the bottom of the pump. And that's pretty much it. So now I have to find another pump or get this one rebuilt.